Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Brielle and today I want to talk about Tradescantias. I asked you guys over on Instagram what plant you wanted me to talk about for my next video, and Tradescantia was basically the #1 requested plant, and hopefully my tips and tricks help you guys. One of the main things I love about Tradescantias is that they grow very fast. They are known as the inch plant because it seems like every day you look at it, it has grown an inch or two. And so I love that I can see the progress really fast with these guys. So the color that they have is just so beautiful. You get a lot of purples and greens, whites, and it's very pretty. So these tips that I'm going to give you guys are just tips that I do for my plants, and they seem very happy with what I do, and everyone has different care tips for their plants, so just want to put that out there. So the first thing I want to talk about is lighting. Tradescantias love bright and direct light, even with some direct sunlight towards the end of the day. I have mine in a west-facing window where they do receive a lot of light more towards later in the afternoon all the way to evening. And so I've noticed that it helps with their color. The purples are more vibrant and they seem to grow very, very fast when they are closer to the window. The soil medium I like to put my Tradescantias in is just a regular indoor potting mix. I've used some from Miracle-Gro and that seems to make them happy. Any standard indoor potting mix should do the trick just fine. So when it comes to watering, it all depends for this one. Since I have mine in a west-facing window where it does receive a lot of light, a lot of sun, the soil tends to dry out very quickly, and so I only water when the soil becomes very dry. Once the soil dries out, and who knows how long that could be, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, but I just wait until the soil dries out and then I'll go in and give it a thorough watering. If your Tradescantia is in a spot where it's not receiving that much light, you will probably not have to water as often. But the key with watering is to just make sure the soil is completely dried out before watering again. This also helps prevent root rot, which they can get, and we don't want that. So just to eliminate that altogether, let your soil dry out. Fertilizing. Fertilizing is very, very important for Tradescantias and well, all plants, but we're just going to talk about Tradescantias for now. I used to use worm castings in my soil for my Tradescantias, but I've switched over to fish emulsion because I've noticed that they like it. They like it, and it helps with their coloring and their growth and even the overall health and strength of the plant. So I stick to a fish emulsion, and I like to do that during their growing season. But when I do fertilize, I will do it basically every time I go in water, which could be every 2 weeks. Like I said, it depends on how fast your soil dries out. During the summer months, it will dry out a lot faster than in the winter months. I will go in and thoroughly, like if I'm watering on a watering day, I will go in with a mixture of water and fish emulsion in my watering can, and I will go and water thoroughly around the plant, and I will wait for the soil to dry out and repeat the process again when the soil dries out again. And when I say during the growing season, that all depends. So a lot of plants right now, it is October, you would think are starting to go into dormancy and they're not putting out as much growth. But here in San Francisco, this is actually our warmest month of the year. So my plants have not gone into dormancy just yet. So I am still continuing to fertilize my plants because they're still putting out new growth for me. If you live somewhere that has like true seasons, and right now it's going into autumn and it's getting cold, the growth is slowing down, then I would definitely not fertilize your plants until spring rolls back around. So next, I really want to get into propagation. This is the fun part. I love propagating my plants because it multiplies them and saves you money. And you can also give these away as gifts and for your friends and loved ones. Let's start propagating. All right, so the first step in propagation, pick your Tradescantia that you would like to propagate, and I'm going to do my Tradescantia lilac. This is actually my second one that I have in my home, and she's getting pretty long, which is nice, but for the sake of the video, I am going to propagate this one. Right, I brought you guys a little bit closer so you can see me better, and I just have a pot with fresh soil, and remember, potting soil will work perfectly fine, and I have my cutting shears. Make sure that you sanitize your shears before cutting any of your plants, and that will help with not spreading any pests if they are there. So I just rub mine off with some rubbing alcohol and they're good to go. So what I like to do when propagating, it's very, very easy. I just usually go from the bottom, and right here you'll see these little nodes right there, and you want to cut a couple inches below that. So I'm going to go and I'm going to cut it right there. And you'll see there is the little node, and that is where the roots are going to sprout out. So I'll take this bottom leaf and remove it, and then I'll go in and stick it right into the soil. And you want to get a good amount of clippings for this to make a full plant again. You know, 3 or 4, even 5 cuttings aren't going to do it. You're going to want to have a good amount for this. So I'm going to take another one right there. And you just keep doing that. So I have some green ones that I'm going to plant in there. What I like about my Tradescantia lilac is that when I bought it from the store, it had 2 types of Tradescantia planted in them. So I have the green variety in here, and then I have the lilac variety, which is really nice. So in this pot, I'm going to take trimmings of both, so I have a whole nother plant of both types of Tradescantia in them. So again, there's that little node right there. I'm going to cut right below that. I'm going to take off the bottom leaf. There's that node. And then I'm going to place it right into the soil. So I'm going to go ahead and finish filling this one up, and I will show you guys what it looks like after. All right, so I'm back. I filled up my pot here with a bunch of little Tradescantia cuttings, and what I like to do after is go ahead and water the soil thoroughly, and then you just wait. The only thing I would say is make sure that the first week or so, keep the soil moist. That's going to allow the cuttings to grow their roots. If the soil is dry, they will not be able to produce those roots that we want, and that is important for a whole new plant. So yes, go ahead and keep this moist for about a week or so. After a week, you can even take one out to see if the cutting has rooted, and if it has, then you can go ahead and start watering as usual once the soil dries out completely. You can go ahead and put them in water as well. Do the same process stick them into some water, allow those to root out to about 2 to 3 inches, and then those are also ready to be placed in some soil. So you have two different options there, soil or water propagation. Both ways are very, very easy. It just depends on your preference. That's really all there is to it. Very easy. So I hope you guys got some useful tips from this video. Tradescantias are seriously one of the easiest plants I have in my collection. They don't need much from me, so that makes it a perfect plant already. If you guys liked this video, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, and if you have any questions or comments, let me know down below, and I will see you guys next time.